Well, the Department of Justice says about 1 in 4 women will experience domestic violence in their lifetime.
For one of them, it cost her half her life behind bars. KOMU8's Caitlin Alexander and Kylie McGivern join us in the studio with the first installment of Battered Justice.
We've spent the past several months examining domestic violence here in mid-Missouri. We've spoken with victims, service providers, therapists, and even batterers themselves.
Tonight, we're sharing the story of Vicki Williams, a domestic violence survivor the law labeled a murderer.
Should be quite a few of them in here.
Family photos.
These was all taken the same day.
Some mark memories Vicki Williams would rather forget.
Really angry. Next thing I knew, I turned around and boom, I got hit.
Family photos.
These was taken while I was in
prison.
The only funeral I've attended my whole life. I was in shackles and handcuffs.
Williams did 32 years for hiring the killing of this man, her husband, and her abuser of 7 years.
There was no way out.
Forced sex acts, beatings, isolation.
Blamed it on myself for years.
Back in 1979, Williams couldn't legally testify in court about the abuse as part of her defense. She was convicted of first-degree murder and got a life sentence, behind bars while her children grew up. 32 Christmases and 32 birthdays, but not one missed. Williams took up crocheting with these hooks during her time in prison so that she could send her kids presents, like this pillow she crocheted for her son from prison. She says even now, she'll never miss a Christmas or birthday.
That's my daughter. These are my 2 grandchildren. And that's me.
Williams has been here in her new home for more than a year. That's after lawyer Mary Beck and others authored this statute.
To make parole possible for domestic violence victims who had been convicted of killing their abusive spouse at a time before Missouri allowed this evidence of abuse to be heard at trials.
Beck helped free Williams and 10 others, and she knows the hardships they face in the real world.
And the years in prison do affect these women's opportunities for employment over time, but it doesn't stop them.
That's certainly true for Williams. She's been busy working and speaking at conferences like this one to address stigmas domestic violence victims face. Back at home, Williams can freely sort through memories.
They do all kinds of crazy stuff.
And focus on the best of them. Of the 11 women Beck and her legal team fought to free, only 1 is still in prison. She has an out date set for next year.
Now, next Sunday on KOMU8 News at 6 and 10, we're looking at the shortcomings of domestic violence shelters right here in mid-Missouri and how these shortcomings can result in a life or death situation for victims.